Hello and welcome. Today I'm gonna be showing you a different kind of mandala. We've done it before with the black canvas and some other colors, but today I'm gonna go with the rainbow colors and start off with the airbrushing brush, and I'm gonna size it down and put red right after the orange, and I'm gonna go to yellow. Little by little, I'm gonna change and transform the colors into real cold colors such as green and blue. To blend them in, this time I'm gonna use the Gaussian blur, and for this time I'm gonna use this Gaussian blur to blend them in and mix them and have a nice spectrum of these rainbow colors. As you can see, you just have to slide your brush down and you see that those colors blend into each other. But remember, if you uh, mix them too much, there's gonna be a grayish color. We don't want that. So let's stick to this spectrum of rainbow colors. The next thing I'm gonna do is to go to the next layer and color it completely black. For the mandala, we're always going for the symmetry tool. I'm gonna use the radial and rotational symmetry for that. And remember that you have to wipe the color off. So your brush is gonna be your eraser tool. Eraser tool, and I'm gonna go with the monoline and start putting on my favorite patterns with this actually eraser tool. I'm going to start from the center and remember that the long hold of the brush on the canvas will cause it to form a shape. So sometimes we don't want that, sometimes we want it. So always remember that. Let's go with the circles and some dots and small half circles. So it's gonna be, as you can see, the colors are starting to show, and little by little, you can see the warm colors still. But as it goes down, you will definitely get to the cold colors as well. But now let's add some lines, some parallel lines over the top of those half circles and find our way out. I'm gonna use one dot at the end of each line because I love dots and dots have a real minimal touch. Then we can add some petals to it, but for the petals, I always use shapes as arcs. I will long hold the pen on the canvas and it will become a prepared arc. Can start drawing another petal of the top of the smaller petals and fill it up with dots and more arcs. As you can see, I'm gonna use the long hold feature to add this arc, and for the razor tool, as you can see, you have to use a brush with a dark color as your canvas. For example, here it is black, and you can see that I'm using black to erase the unwanted lines. And the eraser is going to be your brush in this kind of technique. I'm going to size up a bit, add a circle, and then right after I'm going to size down Add multi tiny circles around it, just like a jewel, and fill this petal with dots. Just play with the size of your brush and dots because you don't want them to look similar all together. And you just want to play with the size, have some smaller, some huge, and some medium dots to this petal. It will create a beautiful texture, and I love this texture because it simply helps me fill my mandala with the patterns and textures. After that, I will go right after for the big, huge arcs on the top of my petal. Just remember to make it look similar on top of each petal. And for in between, I will connect them with some more dots. I'm going to size it up a bit. I'm going to connect the two spaces with some dots and continue it for a bit of outer corners. Here, you can use this pattern to fill these great spaces. You know, the vast spaces of this mandala shouldn't be empty, and you have to fill it up with patterns. For example, here I'm going to use this pattern. I count each half circle to make it even, and I'm going to go to the outer corner. Continue to outer corner to fill the space up and have some texture. Here is the last part and even it out. Here it goes. We got a pattern of dots, lines, and half circles. To frame the whole mandala, let's just add some circles. But as you know, drawing circles with the symmetry tool is kind of tricky. You might find the uh, curved parts. It will be curved in somehow, but because it will separate the whole canvas into 8 parts, and drawing a circle in this 8 parts kind of tricky. And the full circle, I will draw some of these long holded arcs to the inner corners and fill the space up a bit because this frame also will create a blank space which needs to be filled. And for the outer corners, I'm going to use the arcs, but you always can edit the arc with the but by tapping on the edit, and it will give you three handles to just customize your arc. After that, you can tap done and you'll be done with your editing. Always use lines and lines on top of the symmetry lines that can help you guide your way through. As you can see, I can edit my arc pretty simply by using the three handles that Procreate gives me and make it more symmetrical and customize it. And this real big circle, because we do not want it empty, we can fill it up by adding some big dots in the shape of a petal and a half circle. But remember that these petals are off the top of your head and you don't have any lines to guide you through. So you have to do it by your imagining a line and putting the dots on top of that imaginary line. And I can frame it to make it more neat with a real line and go through it. For the last part, I will be using these lines, but for making it simple, I'm only gonna use the basic and the principal points. The three at the first, and then drawing parallel lines to it. It will be more simple because you wouldn't be lost in the way. I will size it down a little bit, fill this gap, and clean off the edges with my brush actually. Brush with the black paint. Clean up the edges and add the missing spaces in the lines to make it more symmetrical and neat. So as you can see, I tidied up the edges a bit and I'm gonna add more details and more textures to my mandala by adding some more lines in between the larger lines. And I will just draw them and continue the rest by the first pattern. That will get you 5, 6 dots and 5, 6 lines, and you will be following the lead. So when we're done with these lines, tiny lines, our mandala will be complete. You always can use the long tab and long hold for the real straight lines, but you can also draw them yourself because they're so tiny, and if it be crooked or if it be not that straight, it wouldn't look that bad because the lines are so short and it will not look bad. For the last part here, as you can see, I will get a teeny tiny space, which I can fill it up with some more dots, with some small dots, and this will be the whole shape of my mandala. And we can be adding some real neat petals on this spaces, on the basic lines of symmetry, and fill it up with somehow smaller lines to make it look like a leaf. You can just add a circle on top of it for the finish. Here's the completed mandala. You can see that it's all done and all the rainbow colors are showing right now from red to the indigo.